Okay.
If I can call the meeting to order.
Notice of this meeting was given to all board members and associates in a meeting notice dated August 15th, 2024. Furthermore, on that date, a copy of such notice was sent to the Times, the Trentonian, and the clerk of the Township of Hamilton. It was also posted on the bulletin board at the entrance to the boardroom in the Hamilton Square Administrative Building. Please rise for the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Atwood, roll call.
Ms. Stanton?
Here.
Ms. Byrne?
Here.
Mr. Salentano?
Here.
Dr. Farrar?
Here.
Ms. Harvey?
Here.
Mr. Kanka?
Here.
Dr. McSheen?
Dr. McSheen will be here shortly.
Ms. Soto?
She will not be here this evening.
Ms. Thornton?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Can I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion passes.
Whereas NJSA 10:4-13 requires adoption of the board to go into executive session, be it resolved that the board, pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, New Jersey, Title 18A, and the Hamilton Township Board of Education Bylaw Number 0166, hereby enter executive session to discuss a matter involving human resource matters and matters falling under the attorney-client privilege. Be it further resolved that the minutes of this executive session shall be made public following formal action by the board and/or at the conclusion of any investigation, due process proceeding, or litigation, so long as not prohibited by law and so long as the need for maintaining confidentiality no longer exists.
We're going to the library.
Back to order. Hello, everyone. So we're going to go into our announcements. I'm going to start with our superintendent's report.
Thank you very much. So the sad part about this superintendent's report is for the last 2 months, I've said, I hope you have a great summer. Now I have to say, I hope you had a great summer because summer is over and we've done a lot of work. And you can see just walking in here, the great work that our custodians and maintenance crew and grounds crew have been doing, and they're still doing to get ready for the school year, not just here, but at all of our buildings. So I want to thank them for their hard work. They work in the heat, they work in the rain, they work in really rough conditions. So I just want to thank all of our maintenance, custodians, grounds, facilities, all the men and women that work there, our trades, that make sure over a 2.5-month period that we can get ready to open in September. So again, a thank you to them for the work that they do. Today was day one of new teacher orientation. As of count this morning, we had 108 new hires that were there with us, and during this week-long training, they'll learn about the various departments and initiatives within the district, engage in various technology applications, learn about the evaluation framework, meet in smaller groups with their respective departments, and most importantly, they are welcome to our HTSD family. Included with our 108 new, there were 26 mid-year hires that joined us also that were there part of new teacher orientation. So it was a great first day. Dual enrollment information session, that's going to happen this week. That is on August 28th at 6:30, and 123 of our families have already signed up for the dual enrollment program, getting information with the dual enrollment program that we have with the College of New Jersey related to our AP classes. And a reminder that every one of our AP classes that we offer here every one of those classes are eligible for dual enrollment at TCNJ this year. This, as we announced several months ago, was a tremendous agreement between the College of New Jersey and Hamilton Township. We should be proud of this agreement. It provides an opportunity for our students and our families, for students to gain college credit, and for our families to gain college credit at a reduced rate. So when children go on to college, some of them we have sophomores that start taking AP classes. Some of them will take AP classes sophomore, junior, and senior year, and they take those classes. They then can have the equivalent of at least a semester of classes that are AP classes that are now college credit. So that is exciting. Although my son is a senior in high school this year, it would have been great if it was last year or the year before that we started that. But that agreement was not even thought about. And I want to thank our curriculum and instruction department and the College of New Jersey and obviously the Board of Education for accepting that. But the information session will be the 28th of August at 6:30. Our first day of school is Thursday, September 5th for all students. It is a one-session day. Also, September 6th is a one-session day. All faculty and staff will report on Tuesday, September 3rd. And please check PowerSchool for bus and class information. Bus information will be out on the 30th. The last Superintendent's 62nd summer update for our community went out today. There were 8 of them this summer, and I hope those brief videos were informative. We're excited to announce the development of the new HTSD mobile app. It is coming soon to both the Google Play Store and Apple App Store. We appreciate that some of you may have already posted about this in an attempt to download it, but please don't. It is not ready for prime time yet. Please bear with us as our technology department finalizes the testing of that app to ensure its functionality is seamless for our community. Once it's ready to launch, we'll make a formal announcement and provide the links so you can download them. Every year we publish an infographic, and the 2024-25 infographic is now out on our website and on social media, so take a look at that. It provides a lot of information about the great things that are happening at the elementary, middle, and high school and at the district level. And on the back side of that, you will see where all of our graduates from the class of 2024 are going: college, career, military, trades. And we are celebrating where each one of our graduates is going, and some of them have already started in any one of those 4 options. We have 2 pop-up schoolhouses left this year. We have a pop-up schoolhouse at Layler on Wednesday from 3 to 5, and at Greenwood on September 10th from 3:30 to 4:30. We've already had very successful pop-up schoolhouses at Cooser and Klockner. Food service information. All families are now required by law to complete a school meals application each year. Students in elementary and middle schools will be sent home a paper copy of the application on the first day of school. Please complete that, families. By September 18th, please return the completed form to the school office or complete and submit it electronically at myschoolapp.com. The eligibility for free and reduced program has expanded again, so more students will be eligible. The new law allows parents to firmly opt out of completing an application, and such acknowledgement form will be sent home with the paper application or can be electronically submitted again at myschoolapp.com. We also want to welcome our new food service company, Mascios. They've been at both of our pop-up schoolhouses. They've also been at a meet and greet, and they did a wonderful job. All of the menus are now posted on the district website or can be downloaded to your phone, because they have an app also called NutriSlice. So we will be putting that out in a community update. Schedules are out, as I mentioned, so please take a look at the schedules. Please understand also the complexity of scheduling at the middle school and high school level, and it makes it difficult to accommodate schedule changes. However, we do make adjustments to schedules when there are issues. Those issues include the correction of an error in the schedule, including a conflict between 2 or more courses, or a failure to meet a prerequisite course, a recommendation from the child study team, or if a student is repeating a course and is assigned to a teacher with whom he or she previously received a failing grade. Those are all reasons why we'd make adjustments. Also, an adjustment would be made if the schedule is not complete for the student. So please reach out to your counselor if that is a case. And finally, our theme is Every Day Counts again this year, so let's work together to make it a great school year for everybody. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Rocco. At this time, I'm going to go to our Board of Education to see if anyone has any announcements or reports that they would like to share. I'll start with Dr. McSheen.
Not today, thank you.
Okay, Dr. Ferrara.
Yes, although Dr. Rocco took a lot of my thunder.
Sorry.
That's okay, great minds think alike. I want to thank the HTA for inviting me to attend the annual picnic lunch for the district's custodians and operations people. And as Dr. Rocco said, these people are the people who make the district buildings sparkle. They move that S word in the winter. They clean up, believe it or not, in places like under the bleachers after football games. And it's actually amazing how much stuff gets tossed under there. They mow the lawn, so I want to thank them publicly. It was great. It's always great fun to go and just picnic with them. I also went to the 2 pop-up schoolhouses that have already taken place. One was at Kluser and one was at Klockner, and it's really fun to see the smiles on student faces when they see their principals and teachers. The big draw at Kluser was the Kluser cat mascot. And finally, a couple of us on the board were talking about how many of our students have to walk to school each day, even in the rain. And in order to make life a little better, the nurse at Nottingham High School has a Donors Choose project, which would help her buy socks for students who end up with wet feet after walking to school. So, and there are other Donors Choose projects, but I wanted to highlight that one because the other thing that we talked about was if schools, when they set up their spirit stores, if they could include umbrellas and ponchos, then we could direct community members who would like to buy a poncho or an umbrella for a student to do so, because again, they walk in all sorts of weather. So, and that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ferrara. Ms. Stanton?
Nothing this evening.
Ms. Harvey?
I just wanted to follow up with Dr.
Great
Ferrara's
minds,
announcements
right?
because we attended the picnic together. It was a great event, and I want to also thank the custodial staff for all their hard work. And then from the child's perspective, my children enjoyed going to the pop-up school events. If you haven't gone, you can take your children to any of them, even if it's not your school. They still have fun and they still run into their friends, so it's a great way to ease them back into school.
Thank you, Ms. Harvey. Mr. Celentano?
Nada.
Okay. Ms. Byrne?
Not tonight.
Mr. Kanka?
Nothing.
Thank you. So at this time, we're going to move on to our awards and presentations. We do have a presentation this evening. I believe, is it Dr. Altabello? Yes. We'll be doing the presentation on our school safety data system.
On the board right there.
Just go in.
Do you want me to hold it? Dr. McSheen got
Can everyone see this? Can everyone see the screen? Just want to make sure. In the audience? Okay.
Hold that up a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's better. Okay, good evening, everybody. So we're required 2 times per year, according to the state of New Jersey, to report out on the school safety data system. So tonight, you're going to see information that shows September 2023 through December 2023. And then in November, we'll get the snapshot of the entire school year. But the data is good, so I'm happy to report it tonight. We'll go through it. So just a reminder, I show this slide every time. The school safety data system was established in 2017, 2018 by the New Jersey Department of Education. And essentially what it does, it collects incidents identified as violence, vandalism, weapons offenses, substance abuse offenses, HIBs, across the state of New Jersey. So every school is required to report this information. So what you're seeing here, this is not required by statute. We are not required to show you a comparison, but I always like to show you a comparison and give you some information. So we're going to start with this. What you're looking at is the elementary schools. So the 17 elementary schools. I think it's important to note that in the 17 elementary schools, we have 5,830 students. So when you look at this information, for example, when you look at total incidents of 42, that means that 99.3% of our elementary students are not engaging in anything that is violence, vandalism, substance, weapons, or HIB. That's good. We had 16 issues that we've identified as violence. That's representative of 99.6% of our students not engaging in that behavior. Vandalism was 4, that's 99.9% of our elementary students. Substance was 1, that's 99.9% of the 5,830 students. Weapons were 4, that's 99.9% of the students not engaging in that behavior. HIB confirmed were 18. That means 99.7% of the 5,830 students in the Hamilton Township elementary schools did not engage in any harassment, intimidation, or bullying behavior. And then HIB alleged were 25. Those are ones that were found not to be harassment, intimidation, and bullying. And that says to us that 99.6% of our students in the elementary schools are not engaging in being accused of harassment, intimidation, and bullying. The last two columns are just trainings and programs that we have in the school, and you can see that Mrs. Furlato has worked hard as the district HIB coordinator to bring in trainings and programs. But overall at the elementary school, just based on those numbers with 5,830 students, 99% of our students are not engaging in any of the behavior that requires us to report. We're going to continue to work on that 1% as a district, but this data is good. Moving on to the secondary schools. So these are our middle schools and high schools. And I would be remiss if I didn't give a lot of credit to the school administration at our middle schools and our high schools, and the guidance staff as well, because we've made it a mission over the last couple of years to really focus on our secondary schools to try and bring down these issues, because years ago when I first came, these issues were a little bit higher. And due to the work of those administrators, I'm happy to report on our secondary buildings today. To give you perspective, we have 6,980 students in the secondary division in Hamilton. So our total incidents were 121, which is down from the previous year. That says to me that 98.2% of our secondary students are not engaging in any of these incidents. That's a good thing. Violence down year over year. 61 total incidents, that's 99.2% of our students not engaging in an issue of violence. Vandalism was at 9. That's 99.9% of the students not engaging in a behavior of vandalism. Substance abuse, down, 29 incidents across 6,980 students. That's 99.6% of our students not engaging. The next one, I'm actually proud to report that weapons have been identified, and that is up. Why is that a good thing? Because the Board of Education made a commitment at the secondary level to installing weapons detection systems. That has shown to be very beneficial, as we were able to identify 5 situations last year from September till December of weapons attempting to be brought into our schools. HIB confirmed 17 incidents out of 6,980 students. That's 99.8% of our students not engaging in harassment, intimidation, and bullying incidents in the secondary division. And then HIB alleged, which again are the ones that were not found to be HIB. There were 9, which means 99.9% of the students are not engaging in that behavior. And the last thing I'm going to show is just a cumulative comparison of the entire district. So to give perspective, there are 12,360 students in the Hamilton Township School District. Across the entire district, we had 163 incidents of violence, vandalism, substance, weapons, or HIB. So that tells me that 98.6% of the 12,360 students in this district are not engaging in this behavior. Violence was at 77, which is down year over year. That's telling me that 99.3% of our population is not engaging in that behavior. Vandalism is at 13. That's telling me that 99.9% of the 12,360 students in the district are not engaging in that behavior. Substance was down. 99.7% of our students not engaging in that behavior. Weapons were up. Again, due to the weapons detection systems being installed at the secondary division, and I would say adding the campus monitors at the elementary division, that is a good thing. HIB confirmed. They are down district-wide. 99.7% of the 12,360 students in this district are not engaging in that behavior. HIB alleged. They are down. 99.7% of the population not engaging in that behavior. And our HIB trainings and our HIB programs are up. So due to the effort of the administration across the district and really the building level administrators working with their teachers, working with their counselors, it certainly is not us. It is them at the building level doing this work. But I'm very proud to report this and show you that we are making progress. Are we perfect? No. We still have a lot of work to do, but we're moving in the right direction, and we're going to keep moving forward because we want to see these numbers continue to come down, not only at the elementary level, but at the secondary level and at the district level, because safe schools are important. When kids are safe and they feel safe, they're ready to learn, but we're moving in the right direction. So thank you for your time. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I appreciate it. And you will be voting on this as required by statute tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Altobello. Do we have any questions from any board members in regards to Dr. Altobello's presentation? Dr. McSheen?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Altobello. As we know, the student population number changes over the years. Can you comment on how many more students there are this year versus last year?
So in this comparison, we actually had 200 students more in the district than the previous year. So we are up students and down incidents, which is a great question. I should have brought that to the attention of everybody at the beginning. But year over year, we have more students in the district than we did in the previous reporting year, and we have less incidents than we did in the previous reporting year.
Mr. Salentano.
I'm sorry, Mr. Salentano.
Jim, with regards to the weapons, do we know what type of weapons? I mean,
Yes, so
my edification, if it's...
yeah, so the state is very specific with what is classified as a weapon. For example, let's say that somebody has something that's a sharp object. It has to have a blade that's a certain length in order for it to be considered a weapon. If something shoots a projectile, the projectile has to be a certain length or a certain size in order for it to be considered a weapon. And then depending on what the projectile is, would determine what the follow-up is going to be as per the state. So we know what they are. We've confiscated them, and all of those students have been disciplined in accordance with the board policy or the state law. But we're just not at liberty to disclose that because each one of those incidents is actually a student disciplinary matter, which is confidential information.
Thank you.
Yep.
Dr. Rocco?
Yeah, I want to thank Dr. Altobello for his presentation. He always puts perspective into these numbers, and I think these are important for the community. The community wants to know what's happening in the buildings. I think a couple of things the community needs to know on top of it, and I'm glad Dr. McSheen asked the question. We are increasing in enrollment, and the incidents are going down. However, there was a concerted effort that was put forth by the district administration and the building administration last year, and it started with safety and security. So we have layers of security. Some of that you see, like he talked about the weapons detection, and we have our campus monitors, and we have our private security that is there. So that's part of that, but there are other things that are there. And then on top of it, we also put in place the fact that if you got suspended for a fight, you were suspended automatically for 9 days. That is a very serious consequence. for kids outside of school. And we did hear from administration, kids saying that they chose not to engage in any physical altercations because of the 9-day suspension. So the message was out there. That will continue this year. On top of it, one of the 3 goals of the district, which I did not talk about in my superintendent's report, but is in my community updates, is in the 60-second update that goes out. One of the 3 items that we're focused on is student behaviors. And so the expectation is that we work together. It's not the teacher's full responsibility or the principal's full responsibility. It's the community's and the school's full responsibility. We work together on this. And the expectation is that we treat each other respectfully, whether you're an adult or a child. And you'll see in the community update when we talk about harassment, intimidation, and bullying and physical altercations, they are not acceptable. And we've drawn a line there. We've written about that. We've put that out to parents. We've put that out to our staff. We have enhanced some of the discipline actions. Hopefully that will carry through again in the next report and carry through this school year as we go forward. On top of it, we have a lot of proactive programming, a lot of proactive counseling, a lot of other resources that we're helping students make positive decisions. So I'll give you one other example just to close this out. At Layler this year, in the summertime, we did a pilot program. We had 40 students come over. Some of the students didn't necessarily like going to school. Some struggled in school last year. It was all about leadership, team building, and giving them problem-solving skills. So those type of programs to support students so that they can make right choices and be leaders in our school are important to help with these numbers as we go forward. So Dr. Altabello, thank you for the report.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Altabello. Just real quick, I know that each year we move forward and we add additional programs for our HIBs in the schools. And if it would be possible, if you could just share the programs at each school with the board so that they can have an understanding of all the programs at each school.
Yeah, we'll do a spreadsheet for each school, and we'll send it to the board, or we'll put it in the board library so that you have access to that. Yep, no problem.
Very much. So we're going to move on to our committee reports. I'm going to start with Dr. McSheen for personnel.
Changing it up.
I am going to change it up a little bit.
That's exciting. And I missed last month, so really excited to do it now. Okay, great. So we had our personnel committee meeting last week on Monday, the 19th. In attendance were Ms. Soto, Ms. Thornton, and myself, as well as senior staff. Fairly short report here. We had Dr. Rocco came and reviewed some administrator recommendations. We heard about and discussed the new job adoption, which is on the agenda as personnel item number 20. This is the secretary analyst level 1B job, which sounds like it's kind of driven towards the data monitoring and implementation within our district. We also heard from Ms. Ferlato about the New Jersey School Counselor Association evaluation, which essentially is the change in evaluation that is proposed to be implemented today for counselors. And that is it's mentioned as part of curriculum and instruction agenda, item 14, I believe. We reviewed multiple updates on candidates who are on the agenda tonight, as well as we kind of zoomed out a little bit and had a brief discussion on kind of a need for a better understanding of upcoming financial needs in the current job market, which I think is an ongoing conversation in our group. And we'll look forward to implementing that a little more. That's it for personnel, and if I may give the brief report from DCR.
Yes, please.
So DCR is the District Community Relations Committee, and I know we have our chair here, Lady Cassandra Hodges-Jones. Hi. And this report's from her. DCR is excited for the upcoming school year. We've already attended 2 of the pop-up school events at Cooser and Klockner. DCR is looking forward to reaching more families and community stakeholders at the last two, which are at Layler on the 28th and Greenwood on September 10th. We do have subcommittee chair and co-chair vacancies, and anyone who's interested in joining the DCR as a general member or as a chair, please email dcr@htsdnj.org. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. McSheen. Do I have any questions in regards to Dr. McSheen's personnel or DCR committee report?
I just have a question on that title of the new job, what it means, why it is.
So we will absolutely get that. I think that that's more of a question under the agenda when we move
Okay,
it so that
that's
we can
fine.
discuss it.
Yep, that's fine.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, so Dr. Ferrara, would you like to, curriculum and instruction report, please?
Absolutely. The Curriculum Instruction Committee met on Monday, September 19th, and Ms. Stanton and I were present. Last month, I spoke about the new math program being used this year, and the majority of the student and teacher materials have arrived. 97 members of the district's instructional staff voluntarily came in for an overview training with Mr. Scotto, and I would like to thank those teachers for giving up some of their summertime so that they can hit the ground running with students. The district is also strengthening its accounting and marketing classes, which are part of our, oh good, I'm gonna blank. Help me here, Dr. Rocco, CTE. What's the C? It's not it's career, thank you, career train, oh, forget it. It's CTE program. It's our accounting.
Education.
Yeah, thank you. Career Technology Education. I think I need another cup of coffee. And so in that movement to strengthen these, we're going to adopt textbooks and some curricular revisions tonight. A committee of teachers representing all three high schools selected the textbooks from a number of offerings. They worked to make the needed curriculum changes. And one of the highlights of the new text and curriculum is there is more of an integration of writing assignments. The textbooks are being asked for approval. They're listed in motion 16, and the curriculum revisions are in motion 17. Next, the district is required to answer questions from the New Jersey Department of Education about the district's 3-year plan to address the needs of multi-language learners. And the document has been filled out. We just have to approve it. That's motion 12. District funds coming from ESSA, which is Every Student Succeeds Act, are listed in motion 13. Board members and the community can see the title, monies, and the amount under that motion. Board members who read the minutes for our committee meeting noted that the committee had a discussion on tweaking two different policies, which one addresses class rank and one which addresses district grading. Ms. Stanton and I asked the administration to table those policies and to bring us suggested changes to our committee next month. We really felt that the policies should not be just tweaked by a paragraph, but looked at in a broader context. Ms. Ferlato spoke to us about the changing the evaluation assessment for the district counselors that Dr. McSheen just referenced. The counselors have traditionally been evaluated under the Danielson model. However, the district has access to a counselor-specific evaluation framework that is developed by the New Jersey School Counselors Association. There's no cost for this change. It's motion 14, and it just specifically asks the board to accept all three evaluation frameworks for the district, and only the framework for the counselors is changing. And with that, I'm turning over the reporting of the committee's special education topics to Ms. Stanton.
Good evening, everyone. There are a few new programs and materials being adopted by the Student Services Department for Special Education that we will be voting on this evening. At the high school level, it would be the Lexia Voyager program for the LLD classroom. This is a literacy program. At the high school and middle school level, for the resource room, they will be adopting the IXL program for both ELA, English Language Arts, and Math as a supplemental material. And in the elementary school resource rooms, all McGraw-Hill SRA programs, it's going to be the SRA Reading Mastery for K through 2, the McGraw-Hill SRA Corrective Reading for 3 through 5, and the SRA Numbers World for K through 5. Those are listed as numbers number 3 through 7 on the agenda under C&I. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any questions or comments in regards to curriculum instruction report? Okay, seeing none, we'll move to Mr. Kanka for the finance and operation report.
Good evening. The committee met on August the 13th, and we started out with Dr. Rocco's superintendent communications, and his updating of the 60-second summer updates. Then we moved into I want to thank all the committee members that were there and the senior staff members that were in attendance. We had a big group there this week, or at this meeting, because we were discussing the capital projects update. We had Scott Whites from New Roads, Melissa Garlotti, and Scott Downey from Spiesel there to give us some updates on the ongoing projects that are going on in the summer. As you all know, that we have very, very limited time to get this work done, really 2 months. And as you all are aware, I requested that an updated project status chart is online for the community to review. And we talked about, we didn't talk much about the projects that are on schedule, because the majority of them are on schedule, but there are a few that have fallen behind at nobody's fault, other than we're waiting for equipment to get in here. The first thing we talked about, the delay in some equipment that was being delivered at the Wilson University Heights HVAC project. Those pieces of equipment were supposed to be delivered this week or last week, and they are here, and we're expecting those to be installed and ready for startup prior to school opening. So the reason why they were on a delay is because they fell beyond the timeline that was originally discussed in the beginning of the project. We talked about, we moved on to another item, the Crockett classroom conversion D3 and D1. The D1 it's an HVAC project that's taken place. The D1 room is up and running with no issues, but we did have a manufacturer's issue with D3, and there was a leak in the HVAC unit right out of the factory, and I believe they're still working on getting that piece of equipment replaced, hopefully before the school year starts. But it's not going to affect the start of the school year if it doesn't get replaced. There will be ventilation and heating in the room, but there may be some delays on the air conditioning portion of that particular piece of equipment. Then we moved on to the Mercerville kitchen upgrades. Everything is up front and ready to go, with the exception of one piece of equipment. It's a front cabinet section that has hot and cold wells. It's scheduled to be delivered, actually, I think it says here today, so I don't even know if it came in yet. It didn't come in? It was supposed to be delivered today, but that is not going to hold anything up other than the hot and cold wells will not be available if it doesn't get here, but it is scheduled to be here this week. Then we spoke about the high school labs and upgrades to the media center. Casework's all been installed. There had to be some piping replacement done in the west lab room areas. It was apparently, some pipes had to be removed and sealed off until the replacement can be completed. It happened to be a couple vent risers that went out through the roof that were in terrible, terrible shape internally, which couldn't be seen by the naked eye, but when somebody touched them, they sort of disintegrated. It's almost like termites in your house. You don't see nothing until you touch it. So that project is ongoing and is as a work in progress. The auditoriums in the 3 schools, it's on the chart that there's a delay in the, I'm sorry, just on 2. Excuse me. There's a back order on the lifts for west and north. The sound system upgrades are on schedule and for completion, but the lift sections will be blocked off until those particular items can be installed and be placed in use. There was if anybody can remember back, we had a situation with the boilers at McGuire School last year. We had one boiler that was broken down, and we had no way to get pieces for it. So we decided to change the boilers, but the boilers were supposed to be here in a time where we can get those things replaced, but they have been delayed, and we still have one boiler working over there, and we're cannibalizing parts out of that working boiler to keep the old one working. So it's a day-by-day situation with the boilers, but nothing will be removed out of that boiler room until we have the new boilers in our hands, in our possessions, all components in our possessions. So, and if you look at the chart, the projects that are on schedule are the Wilson Modular Classroom, the North. If anybody's run by North, you'll notice that we were replacing windows in the science wing, the ADA ramp, the auditorium sound upgrades, and the Crockett rising walls are all on schedule to be completed. Then this is going to coattail on Dr. Altabello's report. The board and the administration are working together to secure electronically unsecured doors in the district. It was brought up by the committee, the administration, Dr. Altabello, him and Jim O'Boyle went around. They did an inventory of what doors are locked but not electronically secured. And we're going to start a pilot program to get 2 of the schools done this year, and the remaining will be a bid award that will go out for June of 2025. And I believe 135 or so doors, was there?
Across the district?
Across the district.
At the exact number, I think it was higher than 135.
There was quite a few doors, even though they're locked, they're just not electronically secured. So we're going to electronically secure all of them.
I think the important part is that it's not just electronically securing them, but electronic monitoring.
And they'll be monitored.
For all of the.
Yes. So, and that's, all the doors that were people going in and out, you have to have a card swiper to get in and out, but there was quite a few doors that were not, you don't need a swiper to get in and out, but if the door is opened, we will know it's been opened for more than I don't know, 10 seconds or something like that, if it's, because you don't want somebody opening up a door and then somebody blocking it and coming in. So it was a safety issue that we felt that had to be addressed. Then we talked about it, the dual-use application at Robinson School. That's, they're going to be moving speech back into the library. And we had next we had an HVAC project at University Heights that the outside unit that was installed took up 2 parking spots in the parking lot, so there was a change order put in to get those additional parking spots back. We're gonna actually put 6 additional spots in to make up for the 2 that we lost. That's on tonight's agenda for approval. And finally, it was a OSHA training update. We're still trying to get the remainder of our trade guys OSHA certified for safety reasons, working in the district. So, and if anybody has any questions or anything on the projects, on progress of the projects, this chart is online for your viewing. Anybody have any questions on the board?
Dr. Farrar?
You referenced the Crockett walls, and I was there, and I saw that the stones from the walls were out of the wall. Is that the roofing project that we're working on?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. What it is when they put the membrane of the roof on, they didn't go all the way up under the flashing, so that's going to be moved up under the flashing because the stone that's up there, the brickwork that's up there is it's got a really rough texture to it and not smooth like this table, where when you adhere the membrane to it, you got a nice.
So where does the membrane come from? It doesn't come down from the roof? It comes
From the roof up under the like they call them knee walls up there. So the membrane will come up under the flashing. So when it rains, it'll go onto the roof instead of between the roof and the membrane where it is right now.
Thank you.
So.
Any other questions regarding Mr. Kanka's report? Okay, seeing none, we do not have a monthly suspension report or a monthly HIB report or a monthly health report at this time. Mr. Kanka?
Negotiations.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Kanka. Can you take us through negotiations? My apologies.
Well, I'm not going to do it now.
Please.
Under negotiations, as you know, I've been reporting that we've been in negotiations with the teachers, the HTEA. It's still ongoing. We are really close to getting this thing settled, and I've just got my fingers crossed that we can get it done in the next couple of weeks or so. It looks promising. It was tough over the summer getting people together, vacations and stuff like that, so there's been a lot of text messaging going on and emails going on. It was just difficult getting, 30 people in the same room together. So we've been working hand in hand with the leadership over the HTEA, along with our board attorney, and we're really, really close at this point. We also are in the middle of meeting with our directors. We met and exchanged ideas and the proposals on August the 7th, and we have yet to schedule a second meeting at this time, but it's a work in progress. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Kanka. I apologize for
That's all right.
skipping over
That's all right.
negotiations.
You were thinking about the chart.
I was. So as I said, we do not have a monthly suspension report or a monthly HIB report or monthly health report. We'll have those at the start of school in September. And at this time, we're going to move to hearing of the public on agenda items. And we do not have anyone signed up for hearing of the public on agenda items. Okay, seeing that, we will close that portion of the agenda for now. And we will move on to, so I'm actually going to move the agenda around a little bit. I'm going to start with personnel items, if I can. So Dr. McSheen, can you take us through personnel agenda?
Sure can. We will say, okay. So on the recommendation of the superintendent, I move personnel items 1 through 20.
Second.
Okay, do I have any questions or comments in regards to personnel agenda items? Mr. Kenka, I'll start with you.
No.
Ms. Byrne?
Personnel, correct?
Personnel first, yes.
Yes.
I'm sorry I moved it around a little bit. I just wanted to start with personnel this evening.
I did have a question, motion 17, what is that exactly, New Jersey Stride? If somebody can explain that to me, what the agreement is, because it looks like we have some kind of.
Yes,
payment.
sure. I'll start, and Dr. Copeland can fill in with anything that I miss or don't state accurate here. New Jersey Stride used to be CJ Pride, and it is a longstanding consortium of school districts across the state now. Used to be Central Jersey, so that's where the CJ came from. And it is a consortium for recruitment. It typically and originally was designed for the recruitment of diverse educators, but it is open to any educator to come to the recruitment fairs. They've had recruitment fairs every year. They have been well attended all over the state. Large group of school districts, which draws a bigger crowd for a recruitment day. I know that when I was in Hillsborough, we were one of the founding members of it and participated in it for many years. So that's what it is, a recruitment consortium.
So we pay a fee yearly so that we can participate in a broader,
Yes, we do pay a fee. There is a fee associated with being part of the consortium because they do run events, they do run advertisement. They are now connected with New Jersey Association of School Administrators, which is the Superintendent's Association. So this organization does have more connections and more reach out in the state.
and the benefits are that we get like a bigger pool for employment. Is that
Bigger
correct?
pool of candidates. We also get recruitment opportunities where it draws a larger crowd than we would if we typically had our own event.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you, Dr.
You're
Hart.
welcome.
Byrne, do you have any other questions?
No, I do not, thank you.
Mr. Salantano?
On number 20, the new job description, this title that had to be approved by the Secretaries Association, am I correct? Or was it there before it was approved? Okay. So what I don't see here is, do we have an idea what the salary is, unless I missed it, unless you talked about it before?
There is just correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Copeland, there is a salary guide associated with this as part of negotiations with the last time we negotiated with the Secretaries Association.
Okay. Now, is this going to be multiple positions or one position? Because I would think that if it were a position where a person could apply for it to move up, I would think there's going to be more than one.
Right now, I believe the intent is it's going to be a shared position between the business office and student services, because that's where a lot of this work can be done. But I'm going to let Ms. Atwood just provide a little more detail associated with that.
And that's correct, that's what we budgeted, was this year's budget was one of these new positions and shared between both MARTA's and my office, primarily focusing on and almost be self-funding itself with the program where we get reimbursements. So we saw the immediate need for that, but the intention is that if other offices need these type of positions, they could, if we budget for it, we would hire it for them.
Yeah,
Is
and the
that
other
correct,
question
Marta?
here is, thank you. The other question here, it reports to a district level administrator. Is that
Will be
someone specifically?
Katie and Marta.
for this one, yes.
Okay. That's it.
I missed that, so they report to,
Katie,
Yes.
Marta. Okay.
Mr. Salantano, any other questions under personnel?
I can look at my paper backwards here.
Come back to you if you'd like.
No, that's fine. No other questions.
Okay. Ms. Harvey?
A follow-up on Mrs. Burns' question. In number 17, it looks like the costs are limited to paragraph 12 because we're a returning member. Paragraph 13 doesn't apply. Is that accurate?
Yes, I believe the initiation fee or initial fee is outlined in paragraph 13. If you're a reoccurring member, which we are, it's paragraph 12.
And that's the only cost we would incur.
That is correct.
Ms. Harvey, any other questions?
No, thank you.
Ms. Stanton?
No, thank you.
Dr. Farrar?
Okay, now I just want to know why it says Secretary Analyst 1B. Is there a 1A? Is there a 2C? I just curious as to how that
It's
title
based on
came
the
about.
salary guide, a 1A,
1A, 1B.
1B.
And an analyst as opposed to an administrative assistant, as opposed to a secretary?
Yeah, it was termed that as part of negotiations based on the work that the individual will do. And that's how then the job description was developed.
And so what's the difference between a 1A and a 1B, other than a letter?
They're placed on the salary guide and what they get paid.
1A is just secretary, 1 and 1A is secretary, the analyst is 1B.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
I
Any
have
other
a
questions,
question.
Dr. Farrar?
Nope.
I have a question on that.
Okay. Dr. McSheen, would you like, okay, deferring to Mr. Kanka?
That job description can be used not just for this one particular job, it can be used for multiple things, right?
Yes.
If somebody needs a system analyst elsewhere, you're gonna use the same job description.
Correct.
Yes.
Dr. McSheen?
Yeah, sorry, I might have missed it before. Can you remind me the change to the calendar that we have going?
Let me just bring that up for everybody. So we do have a calendar committee this year. We did go over all of this, but the day that we put originally to have off was the 2nd. It is the 3rd. And that is the 2nd at sundown is the beginning of the celebration of the holiday. So it's the 3rd that will be off.
And that's October 3rd.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Dr. McSheen?
It's a Friday, right? So-
That is it.
Okay, so I would like to recognize our retirements this evening. We do have 2 retirements. We do have a retirement Vice Principal, Hamilton High School East here at Steinert. 25 years service to Hamilton, Dwayne Robinson. An Educational Assistant at Hamilton High School West, 16 years service to Hamilton, Denise Laurenti. We wish you all the best in your retirement, and we thank you for your dedication to Hamilton. So at this time, if we can go through roll call?
Ms. Stanton?
Abstaining from 8, B8, and B10, yes to the rest.
So could you just say those one more time? Sorry.
Sure, it was underline 8, transfers and promotions, abstaining from B8 and B10, and yes to everything else.
Ms. Byrne?
Motion 8, abstain, page 1, number 2. Abstain, motion 20, yes to the rest.
On page 1, number 20?
I'm sorry?
Number 20 on page 1.
Motion 20,
Oh, motion 20, sorry.
yes.
Mr. Salantano?
Yes to all except 8A2 and 8A3. I abstain on both.
Dr. Farrar?
I am abstaining on 3A2 and 14A20. Otherwise, yes to everything else.
Ms. Harvey?
I'm abstaining from motion 7, section K, line 30, yes to the rest.
Mr. Kanka?
I'm not abstaining from nothing, yes.
Dr. McSheen?
Yes.
Ms. Thornton?
I'm abstaining on 8D1, yes to the rest.
Motion's passed.
So, thank you very much. On this motion, I'm very excited to make 3 introductions of administrators in this district. Robin Ivanisic, who is here, I believe with your family, is now the new principal of Yardville Heights, so congratulations to you. Erin Blue, I think she is here, and she is our new vice principal at Steinert, so congratulations to you. And I believe I saw Matt Pinero here. Is he here? Matt is now our supervisor of operations, so congratulations to you. And I believe each of them is starting their job tomorrow. So I say that in a way that if you want to go home and relax a little bit before you got to get stressed out about stuff, you are welcome to leave. But thank you for coming, and congratulations to all of you. Well deserved.
Thank you, Dr. Rocco. So we'll move on to curriculum and instruction. Dr. Ferrara, can you take us through the curriculum and instruction agenda?
Yes. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, I move items 1 through 21.
Second.
Okay. So do we have any questions on curriculum and instruction items? Dr. McSheen?
Yes, I do. Can we have just like a little summary of the alternative academy, which is item 20 on our agenda?
Sure, I'm going to turn that over to Dr. Altabello.
Yes, so the district, a few years ago, we created an alternative academy for credit recovery purposes at the high school. So when a student goes, if a student fails a class, we have to offer credit recovery to them. And what we were doing previously is we were using an outside company, and we were paying an outside company to provide instruction for our students. What we've done now is we've designed an internal mechanism, so we have our own teachers teaching our own kids in the credit recovery program. So it's an online credit recovery, and there's a defined process for students to be admitted to that only for credit recovery through the high schools and managed by my office. So this, in order to do that, the board has to approve it each year. So each year in August, we put this motion on to approve us to do credit recovery through our alternative school as a virtual option for credit recovery, rather than paying an EduSeer or an outside company for that program. And we do roughly 600 classes a year for our high school students in credit recovery to make sure that they stay on the pathway to graduation with their cohorts. So.
Great. And just on the note, it looks like basically the students attend in person for half day or so, and then
The students are going to, currently the students, they go through a full normal schedule of their high school classes, and this is in addition to it, it could be done in a study hall if they have it. Other than that, it's done at home, virtually, on their own time. And then it's managed by, we have a supervisor who manages it to make sure that the students are not falling behind in the credit recovery classes, and follows up with the students, communicates with the guidance counselors at all of the schools, and we go from there to make sure that students are getting their credit back or they're not.
okay, great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Dr. McSheen, did you have any other questions?
Yes, I did have one other, I had more of a comment. So on item 2, the medical orders, page 13 is pretty challenging to read if you're not doing it on the computer. I imagine if it's printed out, it's going to be very difficult. It's the it's like the quick reference algorithm for hypoglycemia treatment. So just wanted to point that out in case someone prints it out and a nurse needs to read it.
Page 13.
They can rescan it or
Oh,
something.
yeah, yeah, I see it.
If you have the PDF, you can zoom in and it works, but otherwise, it's not. That's it.
So Dr. McSheen, I actually just had a follow-up question on your question in regards to the alternative academy. Being that we've had it now for several years, is there a way that we can get some data on how successful the program is doing? Because I think it's a great opportunity and a resource for our students. So if maybe we can,
Yeah, I
the
can give
next
you.
month or so, get some data over how well it's been doing in the past.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll give you a 3-year snapshot of the number of classes that we've offered over the last 3 years for credit recovery and the percentage of students who have gotten their credit back in those classes.
Great, thank
No
you very
problem.
much. Any other questions, Dr. McSheen? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
My
that's all.
apologies.
Thank you.
Dr. Ferrara?
No.
Ms. Stanton?
No.
Ms. Harvey? Thank you. Mr. Salantano?
Just a clarification of number 17, the revised new courses. So I see it's, marketing, accounting, and corporate accounting. What specifically changed, or what are we upgrading? What?
I believe the curriculum was updated, and I believe there are some new textbooks associated with these
Just
classes.
books? Content?
Well, the standards were, also you have to align it with the state standards. So as the state standards are adjusted, you have to adjust the curriculum.
Thank you. Yep.
Any other questions, Mr. Salantano?
Good.
Mrs. Byrne?
Yes. Motion 14, the evaluation frameworks. I'm just wondering if we can have a little bit of an explanation, the difference between the Danielson and what we're going to for evaluations and why we're switching.
So we are staying with Danielson. So years ago, I don't even remember how long ago it was, the state said we had to pick one of 4 observation models, or we could create our own as long as it was approved and met certain standards, and the state approved it. Danielson was one of those, and we've had Danielson here ever since. So we are keeping that for our teachers. That's not changing. Also, the administrator is very similar to the Danielson model, so that's staying the same. The changes with the counselors, because really the Danielson model for teaching evaluation is not comparable to the work that the guidance counselors do. So we're going to be changing to that model that is more relevant to the work that the counselors do every day. Easier is not the right term, but more relevant in the evaluation, so the feedback is more beneficial for the counselors.
Okay. And I see here we're doing a guidance for remote learning. I'm just wondering why we're going to vote on that, because, I remember the parents were I'm hoping, because it's an election year, we're not going to have another.
We're required by law. We're required by law to pass that every year now, since the pandemic, of if there was ever a situation, how would you transition versus what happened the last time, which was we're closing down, now figure it out, and create that plan. Now you have to have the plan. So years ago, probably when I was in my first administrative assignment, was the bird flu. Yeah, and we had to do a plan, and for a couple of years, we had to keep that plan active in case there was some issue.
So we're approving the plan. We're not approving like that we really want to do this.
No, we're approving a plan that if we had to, we could go into remote. And Dr. Altobello?
Yeah, one of the important things to note inside of the regulation for us having to have this is it doesn't give us the autonomy to self-select when we would go into remote. This would be in the state of an emergency if the schools were closed by the state of New Jersey. We just have a plan in place, so we're not building the plane as we're flying it, which is what we did the last time. We had 6 days to build out a full instructional plan. So now, because of that pandemic, they require us each year to approve a plan in the event the state was to close the schools again. So we are just required to have a plan that hopefully will never be used.
And they want to know we have the infrastructure, the equipment, the resources to make that transition if it was needed.
Yeah, with multi-sensory learners, it's disaster. So hopefully we don't ever have to
Agreed.
do that.
Agreed.
Any other questions, Mrs. Byrne?
I'm good. Thank you so much.
Mr. Kanka?
No.
Ms. Atwood, can you take us through roll call?
Ms. Stanton?
Yes.
Ms. Byrne?
Yes.
Mr. Salantano?
Yes.
Dr. Farrar?
Yes.
Ms. Harvey?
Yes.
Mr. Kanka?
Yes.
Dr. McSheen?
Yes.
Ms. Thornton?
Yes.
Motion's passed.
Mr. Kanka, can you take us through finance and operation agenda items?
Sure. Upon recommendations of the superintendent, I move finance and operation motions 1 through 17.
Second?
Okay, do we have any questions on finance and operation agenda? Mr. Kanka?
I just want to clarify a couple items. It would be motions 15 and 16. At the advice of a couple of our professional contractors or, people that do work for like Spiesel and New Roads, those bids are going to be rejected and resent out for rebidding on those two items. That would be the Hamilton North Auditorium upgrades and the Gryson Reynolds kitchen upgrades. They came in way over what they expected, so we're going to get sent back out. Other than that, that's it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kanka. Mrs. Byrne?
No.
Mr. Salantano?
No, ma'am.
Ms. Harvey?
No, thank you.
Ms. Stanton?
No.
Dr. Ferrara?
Nothing, thank you.
Dr. McSheen?
Nope.
Okay, seeing that we have no other questions, Ms. Atwood, can you take us through roll call?
Ms. Stanton?
Yes.
Ms. Byrne?
Yes.
Mr. Salantano?
Yes.
Dr. Farrar?
Yes.
Ms. Harvey?
Yes.
Mr. Kanka?
Yes.
Dr. McSheen?
Yes, but abstain on item 1 and on item number 7, numbers 15, 16, and 17 abstain.
Ms. Thornton?
Yes.
Motion's passed.
So now we're going to be moving on to other business. So if any board members have anything that they would like to discuss under other business, Dr. McSheen, I'll start with you.
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, Dr. Ferrara?
I'm good, thanks.
Ms. Stanton?
I did want to make a small plea to the district and the board. I have a few people throughout the district that have been asking for us to initiate some kind of public education on special ed, whether that be for mainstream students, for the community as a whole. I had a suggestion of an OT that I know and love, and I think that Dr. Rocco knows pretty well as well, Mr. Santucci possibly coming, just to give, again, whether this is for all high school students to know about their special ed peers, or if it's a parents' night kind of thing, something we do at a board meeting, some kind of outreach for the community to learn a little bit more about our special ed population. Thank you.
It's a wonderful idea, Ms. Stanton. Thank you for bringing that up, and I'm sure that Dr. Rocco can work with administration, and I'm sure we can come up with something.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Harvey?
I just wanted to point out, because I did get questions, we had mentioned it earlier, but just to make clear that the calendar has in fact been updated. I know people who have small children who might have already taken off from work should just double check the calendar to make sure that it doesn't cause an issue for them, since we've switched October 2nd to now the date off is October 3rd. So I just wanted to make that clear to people, just because I did get a lot of questions. And then I just wanted to, as a little announcement to interested people, because I just know that it goes in line with our education. I'm a member of the New Jersey State Bar Foundation, and there is a program that is nonpartisan that is about the election, that's open to the public. And it's actually, when I was in high school, I actually went to one of the programs, and it was very enlightening for me and helped to expose me to lawyers and other professionals. So I just wanted to make the announcement that it's on September 17th, which is actually the day the Constitution was signed. So they picked a good day, and it's virtual. You can get more information at the New Jersey State Bar Foundation. It's a free public program that the Attorney General's office is involved in, and it just basically explains to the public about how to assess information that is going on with our presidential election. So I just wanted to give that little plug as a public education.
Thank you, Ms. Harvey.
That's the other NJ SBA, right?
It is, in fact. I have 2 accounts.
Mr. Salentano?
No, nada.
Mrs. Byrne?
No, I'm good, thanks.
Mr. Kanka?
Just one reminder to the public. When you're registering your children in the district, please fill out the free and reduced lunch forms. Even if you don't think you're eligible, you may be eligible. Because if you go through half the year and find out that you're eligible, we can't get that money back. It gets lost into the big black hole. And then what ends up happening is it's going to have to come out of our surplus to make up the difference, which means we have our surplus is decreased, which means programs could get decreased. So please fill out the forms. If you get denied, you get denied, but you never know. You could get accepted. So just do it.
Good point.
Thank you, Mr. Kanka.
Ms. Thornton, can I take back my no, I don't have a comment?
Yes, Dr. Farrar, do you have something that you would like to
Well, it just sort of
discuss
occurred to
under other
me.
business?
Yeah, it just sort of occurred to me that school opens a week from Thursday, and we all have to start mentally thinking about kids are going to be on sidewalks, kids are going to be on bikes, buses are going to be on the routes, and just everybody needs to slow down and not pass cars on the right and be respectful to our crossing guards who try to get kids across, like Route 33, all of those big places. So if we just start mind shifting right now, by next Thursday, maybe we'll be okay.
And I'm actually going to add one to that. Whenever we are dropping off our children or picking up our children, let's all be mindful that a lot of our schools are in neighborhoods, and let's maybe try our hardest not to block anybody's driveway while we're waiting to pick up our kids or anything like that. Let's just be mindful that we're all in the neighborhood and just be kind, okay? So if there's nothing else under other business, I will move to hearing of the public on school-related matters. I do have 5 individuals signed up. So when you come up to the microphone, please state your name and your address for the record. And you do have a 4-minute timeline. Please, bless you. Please adhere to the timeline. And I'll start with Alexander DeFalco.
Thank you, and good evening, members of the board. I think, as we can all agree, one of the primary missions of our public school system is to prepare the youth for the future. So tonight I wish to focus on why the board should take greater focus in making improvements in preparing citizens of tomorrow for participating in our democracy. I have made some strides in addressing this issue throughout my high school career through my school's involvement in the statewide mock legislator program. While this issue is not unique to Hamilton, I believe that enhancing civic education will serve to improve the quality of education at large and our community at large. So the 2 main issues I have observed with being involved within the civic education curriculum are the lack of involvement by the majority of students and the preference for study of national/state government over the examination of local/county government. So the truth is, most students don't get significant interaction with civics beyond regular history courses. And the primary issue with this is that students are not provided with an adequate understanding of the functionality of government in the modern day. And I believe this is a necessity because all of our students are entrusted to have the right to participate in our democracy. So I believe is the public school system's responsibility to prepare them for this. So increasing education for voters of tomorrow will definitely provide significant benefits to our community's governance. And in the referencing the current civics curriculum, topics concerning local government structure are rarely discussed, if at all. And it's an unfortunate reality that the government that arguably affects our lives the most is discussed the least. So, and education educational topics like what form of government our town has, how the legislative and executive functions of our town operate and are carried out, and the concept of home rule and many more should foster civic virtue in our community. And thank you.
Thank you. Rachel Balshowitz.
Rachel Balsowitz, 72 Acres Drive. I'm here just for a public announcement, a reminder that our Board of Education election is happening this year. There are 3 seats available, and the Hamilton Township Community Supporting Education will be sponsoring an event on Monday, September 9th from 6 to 8 p.m. This was previously held at the library, but we have outgrown that space, and due to sponsorship from the HTEA, we will be at the Knights of Columbus. Again, there are 3 seats up this year for election, so please pay attention and come out and have a meet and greet with us and the candidates. Thank you.
KFC on Clockner Road.
Correct.
Is it going to be broadcast?
I believe so. It has in the past. We've done a live feed on Facebook. We've had some technical issues with that. Hopefully, those will be worked out at the new venue. Anything else? Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Salentano, you said that's on Clockner, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right by the
There's
bridge.
one like in, well, I should have thought, there is one in Robbinsville, one on Clockner.
Right.
It's right by the overpass.
Isn't it by the
thank you.
recycling center?
No,
Right
right,
ac- it's kind of across.
if you're at Nottingham High School, you make the left at the corner and it's up like before you go over the hump.
Yeah. All right,
Right
thank you.
across in the pet cemetery.
Yeah, right by the PSC&G.
Okay.
PSC&G is on one
I think it's
side,
right, yeah, I think you're right.
and on the other side of the bridge is the Knights.
Thank you.
John Muka.
Good evening, everybody. My name is John Muka, lifelong Hamilton Township resident. There's been a lot of comments made tonight addressed to the public, some very good ideas, actually, that the public should know about. I just want to point out something that the Hamilton Township Committee Supporting Education has in the past taken it upon themselves to post the video from this meeting. But the last time they were able to do that, I guess, was May, because the June and July meetings were not posted anywhere. And I don't know whether this meeting is going to be posted or not. Now, we have like a few people watching the live stream, but for the majority of the 65,000 voters out there in Hamilton, they're not paying any attention. So any chance we have to get this meeting publicized so that when you address the public, there's a chance the public will actually hear what you have to say, and again, very valuable information. Perhaps someone on the staff here or the technical folks, I don't understand, you just take responsibility for taking the recording of this meeting and putting it on the Hamilton Township School District website. I think Dr. Rocker's doing a great job. He's on there all the time giving us updates. So why can't we just post this video from this meeting on that site? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Muka. Janice Glonick.
I love how they make these things so tall. Janice Glonick, 432 Trinity Avenue. I wasn't going to speak, but I knew you would be upset if I didn't say something. I'm just going to say that I am disappointed that the cursive writing didn't follow through in the 4th and 5th grades like I had suggested. And it's really a necessity because I was visiting my student teacher who I taught how to teach 40 years ago, and she was saying how last year they went to vote and an 18-year-old came in and could not sign his name, did not know how to write his name, and they wasted so much time trying to get a signature out of him. So it is very vital that we do teach the cursive writing in 3rd grade, which we are, but then also to practice throughout the year. But then I had suggested that we have a sentence, we could even do it every other week. For a half hour, write a sentence that was printed, read a sentence that was written. These kids are going to come across specially written stuff along in their life, far more than a lot of the things that they are learning, like in science and all that jazz. But it really would be vital to them because They don't want to be embarrassed when they're grown up and somebody hands them something written and they can't read it. I mean, it is very necessary. You're going to come across it in your life forever, and be able to write your own name is very important. So I would think it's very helpful if we reconsider this down the road. And, even if it's like just once a month in 4th and 5th grade, write this sentence and the teacher corrects it. Read this sentence and write what it said and print what it says, so they know how to do the cursive writing, write it and read it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Connick. Marvina Brown?
Hello and good evening, everyone. My name is Marvina Brown. I'm with Layla Elementary School PTA. Can everyone hear me okay? Oh, yes, okay. All right, I agree about the cursive. I was just telling my friend there that my daughter just asked me to read her shirt. Mommy, I can't read cursive. What's my shirt say? So, either I feel like we teach it or we don't, but if we're hanging in between, we should learn it. That's just my opinion. What I really want to discuss tonight, just a few things really quick. I appreciate the comparison data on the bullying and the violence in schools. However, a lot of instances are not reported. I repeat, a lot are not reported. I don't know why. I guess they figure it can be managed in-house. So in order to kind of circumvent the whole issue, I'm suggesting that possibly sponsoring some type of mental health, some problem solving, some coping skills for our elementary kids. They don't know how to manage their emotions. A lot strike out, a lot bully. It gets really mean. And I'm president of PTA, I'm here with the vice president, and we get to meet a lot of the community, a lot of the students, and get to really hear what the parents are chattering about. So we hear a lot of things that go on in the school that don't necessarily reach this forum. So that definitely is a big concern. Another thing was the new food service. I'm excited about that. I've been emailing with Aramark about, we have a lot, being PTA, we feed the kids a lot, and we are aware of a lot of allergies. And we just don't have that type of thoughtfulness or consideration in the meals that are provided. A lot of times the free lunch is great, but the kids can't eat it. There's a lot of wheat, there's a lot of milk, there's cow milk. We have a lot of fruit allergies, just to kind of maybe mix it up a little bit and add some more variety to feed our children. A lot of them cannot eat it. The heat in the school, we have some classrooms that are air conditioned and our main office is nice and frosty, kind of like in here. But the hallways are steamy. My kids come home, well, my one kid, my other one had an air-conditioned classroom, but he's clammy, he's flushed, it's hot, it's hard to learn when you don't have air in the school. And on hot days, schools that don't have air conditioning, I think it's kind of cruel for kids to have school and have to sit in there. The teachers don't know what to do. They tried to take them outside under a tree. That doesn't work. It's very difficult as a parent to send your kid to sit inside a hot old building without air. We need assistance with that. And that, I guess that's enough said on that. It's really a big concern with a lot of the families, a lot of the students. And last but not least is handicap accessibility. We have strollers. This is an elementary school. We have elderly parents and support systems, grandparents that can't easily make it into school for concerts and programs that we as PTA try to create. We haven't had a PTA since COVID. We started last year to try to build community, get people in the school, get parents unstuck and participating in our programs, and it is difficult. Everybody says, I don't have spare time. Neither do we. There's no such thing. We're sitting at a laundromat mapping out calendars for the year. You got to carve it out, and it's a hindrance not to have a welcoming entrance for those who are wheelchair-bound, strollers, things of that nature. I didn't think I was going to use my time, but I did with 2 seconds to spare. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. So that does conclude our hearing of the public. Before we move to adjourn our meeting, I just wanted to echo the sentiments that my fellow board members and Dr. Rocco have said this evening. It takes so much over our summer months to get our schools ready. We are about a week away. It's right around the corner before the doors open for the 24-25 school year. And I just want to again thank our custodians and our facility staff for all their hard work over the summer, our administration staff at each school, central office, secretaries, guidance counselors for working so hard to get schedules ready and programming and everything. And Dr. Rocco, thank you to you as well, because without everyone working together as a team, we wouldn't be able to open next week. So I want to say thank you. I wish everyone the best school year. Enjoy the last few days of summer before school opens, and we'll be at back to school night before you know it. So can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Thank
All
you.
in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion passes.